So I had a pretty normal childhood. Sport obsessed, cricket was my thing. My only goal in life at the age of 8 years of old was to play professionally. The only problem I had at that point in time is that I wasn't actually any good at cricket. But as we know, when we put our minds to something, anything's possible. I trained and I played until I couldn't anymore. And then in January 2011, my childhood dream came true when I made my professional debut. Life was good. But as we also know, with ups sometimes come downs, and my life changed in a pretty big way after that moment. I broke my back playing the game that I loved. Paralysed from the waist down, they told me I'd never walk again. 5 surgeries were unsuccessful. And after the 5th surgery, I started to believe what they were saying. Maybe I would never walk again. The 6th surgery was a success though, and I went home to start the recovery process. Things were going really well, and I woke up one morning and I looked down at my leg and it was blue. The doctor said, "We'll have to amputate." I said, "Doc, surely there's something we can do." He said, "Exercise might help." I said, "Great, I'm an athlete, I can exercise." So I did. They gave me 2 weeks to get the pressure back up in my leg, otherwise we'd lose it. The deadline was approaching and the pressure wasn't rising. It wasn't looking very good. It got to the night before I was due to be amputated. It's a pretty strange feeling knowing your destiny like that. My dad found me just a few hours later unconscious in the middle of the night. I'd been bleeding internally and the blood hadn't been flowing into my leg given the nerve damage. The bleed was fixed and my leg was saved. The next step was rehab. It's a pretty confronting place for a fit 24-year-old. See, in rehab there were 3 categories: the over 65s, the over 75s and the over 85s. But to be honest, I was the most excited to be in that category because it meant that I won the calf race competition every day. The best part about rehab though was meeting Jim. He was a fit 25-year-old athlete just like me. We quickly found ourselves the odd man out in an unknown environment. Jim made me feel like the luckiest person alive, even amongst our struggles. I mean, who finds love in a rehab centre? I did. We made plans. 4 kids, 3 boys and a girl, just like my family. A house in Broadwater on the Gold Coast, pet turtles, a dog named Saf. We dreamt often, and like I never had before. The 13th of November 2012 is a day that I'll never forget. That's the day that Jim passed away. It was suicide, and it crushed me. Time changed that day. If not the time that was my life, then the time that I'd ever had it easy. What was out there that could possibly make me happy again? I mean, I was an athlete and I'd lost my ability to do that. And then I lost Jim. I hit rock bottom. But what I found is that when you hit rock bottom, there's only one way to go, and that way is up. I sat down and I wrote a list and I called all the people who had helped me on my way to recovery. I just wanted to say thanks, and I felt really good about myself. Realising that my journey was spurred on by the kindness of other people, I committed my life at that point to paying it forward in any way I could. I bought strangers petrol, dinner for the homeless, wheelchairs for kids in need. I broke a world record for the most burpees completed by one person in a day while raising over $300,000 for Mel, a double-leg amputee. Thank you. For the first time in a long time, my life had found purpose again after going through all those sorts of things. Slowly, I began to get back into fitness again. So I ventured into the world of competitive triathlon. I had and still have no feeling in my legs, but that small detail didn't stop me. I got so good at triathlons that I qualified for Australia's Port Macquarie Ironman to be completed in May 2016. Training was on track, everything was going great, and I'm on a training ride with my 2 best friends. And then everything went black. I was hit by a drunk driver from behind. I broke my back again, this time in 4 places. I shattered my hip, I dislocated my neck, and I broke my wrist. The worst part was waking up from a coma to the news that I was paralysed and told that I'd never walk again. Can you imagine being told that for the second time in your life? Every single part of me wanted to give up. The way I saw it, I was faced with two options: to give up or to get going. So I got going. I taught myself how to walk again in only 2 months. And it was then that I decided that the world is changed by your example and not by your opinion. Understanding the way that kindness worked at this point, I asked myself one simple question. Is it possible to survive off kindness? Could one person survive off of kindness alone? In August 2016, I tested that theory when I went on a little journey. No cash, no credit card, no food or water. I left my home in Sydney with nothing but the clothes on my back in the hope of proving to the world that kindness still exists. I travelled for 2 months to every state in Australia with over 10,000 offers to help me. I was fed by the homeless and I fed the homeless. I stayed in tents, boats, and 5-star accommodation. The world has a habit of showing up if you ask it to. But this journey wasn't about me. This was about people helping other people and expressing kindness without intention. I came back and my inboxes were flooded with people sharing their own stories of kindness. People were inspired for the right reasons, and so I set up a platform, Kindnessfactory.com, for people to share those stories and to collectively help us achieve our first goal at that point, which was 1 million acts of kindness. As of this morning, we're at 152,687 acts and counting. Think about that for a second. That means that 152,687 lives have been touched by kindness that may not have been if we didn't exist. But this isn't about a goal or a number. What the journey's taught me, it's about something much deeper than that. It's about human connection. You know, the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. And when they can give and receive without judgment. It's been amazing so far. We've had people buying cars for other people, kids sharing lunches, a bikie gang member who turned from crime and drugs to saving his neighbour's life. One woman over there donated a kidney to a father who she hadn't spoken to in over 10 years. But I'll end today with this one. It's my favourite story of kindness. This little boy's name is Sam. He was in the grocery store with his mum when he noticed the woman in front's credit card kept declining. And he tapped his mum on the arm to ask her what's going on, and she explained it to him. He ponders for a moment and he taps her arm again, this time asking for his allowance. And when she asked why, he simply said, "I'll pay for the lady's groceries." Now, you can imagine that a 5-year-old probably doesn't have close to the amount of money needed to pay for the groceries. But his mum did. And his action inspired her to do just that. One small act can make a really big difference. And this is what I've learnt. Together, we're all in this world as one. I think we all have it within us to be kinder to one another. What have you done today that's benefited someone else? Like, did you hold the door for the person on the way in this morning? Did you say thank you to the person who made you coffee? What are you doing for others? Kindness starts with us, and I'd love you to share it with us. Thank you very much.